This week, Parshas Tzavah. Okay? The introduction to Parshas Tzavah, which is the Iker, the Parsha of the making of the Big Day Kahuna. Parshas Tzavah deals with making the garments, the special garments of the Kohanim, right? And what does it start off? Tell the Jewish people to bring you pure olive oil that has been crushed for the menorah, the purest oil that's been crushed for the menorah. Ask the Malbim, why is that the introduction to Big Day Kahuna? What does that have to do with Big Day Kahuna? Right? The menorah we spoke about last week. Why does that come in over here? There's a Poliakoff who speaks about very interesting application of the Big Day Kahuna having to do with something that's happening next week. Parshas Tzavah in most years is the Parsha just before Purim. Says the Poliakoff is a whole arichos that we have in Megillas Esther that Achashverosh wore the Big Day Kohen Gadol, the kavod l'tifares, and it says in the Megillah, the party, right? It was tifares, tifares kedulaso. So he wore the garments of the Kohen Gadol, and the Poliakoff discusses what's the connection, the garments of the Kohen Gadol, and the whole Purim story. So I started thinking about it. It's very interesting. The Begadim play a very central role in Megillas Esther. And first Perek, there are descriptions of all the different types of materials that were used and things that were spread over the floors and on the chairs and the expensive materials that were being used in the setup of the party of Achashverosh, right? And then when Esther was chosen, what does Achashverosh do? Vayosem keser malchus birosha. He put a crown upon her head. Vayamlicha tachas Vashti, and he made her the queen, right? But first put the crown on. Then, when Haman comes to Achashverosh, and he says to Achashverosh that he wanted to get Mordechai hanged, and Achashverosh says, "Go take him and give him honor." So what does Achashverosh tell him? Maher kach halevush v'asus. Quickly take the garments, because Haman talked about the garments. And before that, Mordechai is Yoshev Shara Melech with levush sak. He's wearing sackcloth. And when Esther goes to address Achashverosh to ask him to come to the party, right? The first time, Vatilbash Esther Malchus, right? So she's wearing the royal clothing. And then when Mordechai is taken, Mordechai miyotzem lifnei melech, levush malchus tcheles v'chur, right? All the garments about what Mordechai is wearing. All about garments, all through the Megillah. Very interesting. What does it mean? There's an old Yiddish joke about the fellow who was traveling and he came to an inn late at night and needed a place to stay. And the innkeeper says, "I don't have any rooms. The rooms are taken up." He says, "Look, I'll sleep on the floor. Just give me a place." He says, "Well, there's a room that I have the general is sleeping there. He sleeps late and he sleeps hard, so he won't know anything anyway. So if you go to sleep now and you get up early, so it'll be okay. You'll never know that anybody slept in his room." So he says, "Okay, but listen, I need you to wake me up early in the morning. Get me up, so then I'll get out and I'll go right away." Fine. So it's still dark, and the innkeeper comes and he wakes up the visitor, and he goes out and he goes to the train station, and wherever he walks, people salute him and people stand stand up for him, and doesn't know what's going on. Finally, he comes to a mirror, and he looks in the mirror, and he sees he's wearing the general's clothes. So he says, "That idiot of an innkeeper! I told him to wake me, and he woke up the general." Right? So the fact is, though, that there's a lot of truth to this. In history, when the Americans wanted to interrogate the Nazis, Yamach Shemam, the officers that they captured, they wouldn't talk. What they did was they took off their clothes. They took off their uniform. They had them sitting in front of them in their underwear. They broke like that. Clothing has a very, very strong influence. You wear certain clothes, it makes you. It makes you feel a certain part, right? But the truth is that clothing goes both ways. In one way, the clothing makes the man, that what you wear makes the person, but it's also true that it goes from inside out. That what the person is also shines out through the clothing. You can tell what a person is very often through his clothing. You can look at the person's clothes and you can tell what kind of a person he is, right? It's very interesting. The Kohanim says, "Bizman shebigdeim aleim kunosam aleim." They're Kohanim only if they wear the bigdei kahuna, right? But the pshat is, they're like the menorah. The menorah, the light of a menorah, depending on the type of oil you put into the lamp, that affects the type of a light that comes out. The internal creates the external. That's the introduction to Big Day Kuna. The introduction is you've got to be pure on the inside, and then those clothes exude that purity, right? Purim is all about the clothes make a difference. That's why in Purim there's all this about costumes and dressing up, because there the clothes made things different, that the clothes were affecting the outside in. By Big Dekuna, it's the inside has to be exuded outwardly. And that is indeed a very big musar for us, because that means that what we wear shows our inside, shows what's there. That makes a difference in tzniut. What kind of clothes do we wear? How do we dress? How do we show ourselves? That which we are inside. That the royalty and the pride of being a proper person that we are inside should bring itself out in terms of the clothes that we wear as well. And it does bring it out. And therefore, the type of clothes we wear should really show a true picture of what we are. And that has a idea of tzniut, of kavod, of respectfulness. That's what the clothing should bring out. That's Parshas.